So let's see here. Green stands for conservatism, ramp, big, stompy creatures, nature, life. Blue stands for study, progress, development, card draw and control magic. Red is passion, freedom, doing whatever you want, big explosive sorceries and lots of burning damage. Black is power hungry and accepting sacrifice to gain power, self-sacrifice or other sacrifice to gain power. Death magic, graveyard control, etc. And white stands for law and order and like group working together basically, but law and order. You can make better examples and explanations of the color pie, but that's somewhat of how it goes. But the big thing here is white. White have always been the lawful color, the law and order color, the color that puts something into play and make everyone abide by law and order. I think rule of law is like the best example ever here. It literally have rule in it, rule of law. Each player can't play more than one spell each turn. Rule of law is basically putting an effect, a law into play that is forcing everyone to follow a certain law. And then you have other examples like rest in peace, removing everyone's graveyard. We shall not tempt with the graveyards. You have tax effects, you're demanding people to pay their taxes like Thalia, Glow Rider and more. There's a lot of different variants here. We usually combine these things into something like tax effects or Stax effects. You might have heard death and taxes. But the big concept is that you're preventing your opponents from doing things. You're controlling them with forbidden effects, things your opponents aren't allowed to do. Like you can't break the rule of law. I'm putting an effect that is forcing you to play in a certain way. And then you try to break parity from it. For example, rest in peace. No one is allowed to have graveyards. And the way to break parity against rest in peace is simply by not having a graveyard. So every card that would interact or do something with the non-existing graveyard would be dead cards, while every card that doesn't interact with the graveyard are functioning fine. But then Wizard of the Coast printed a lot of new black cards. The three big ones on everyone's tongues and minds listening to this video are Opposition Agent, Daffy Voidwalker and Orcish Bowmaster. Let's begin by looking at Rest in Peace and Daffy Voidwalker because they make a very good comparison. Rest in Peace is making graveyard non-accessible for everyone, including yourself, while Daffy Voidwalker is only making the same problem for only your opponents, while also reaping a benefit. There is no cost demand for Daffy Voidwalker. You're not in theory losing anything having it inside your deck. If you have Rest in Peace in your deck and you put Rest in Peace in play, you yourself can't access your graveyard anymore. You don't have this problem with Daffy Voidwalker. On the same time, Daffy Voidwalker will give you a benefit. As your opponents are casting spells, Daffy Voidwalker will collect those into some form of crazy collection, and then you can use that later to some great extent, depending on what you're getting. Opposition Agent is more or less the same thing. If you compare it to Aven Mind Sensor and Opposition Agent, it is clearly a power creep upgrade, where you're also getting a benefit. And then we have Orcish Bowmaster. I'm not gonna talk about Orcish Bowmaster. I don't think I need to talk about Orcish Bowmaster. I think my point have been made, or more or less. A big thing about these cards, and something I said in the beginning of the video, that black are sacrificing for power. You're consuming your life, like paying life, discarding cards, or sacrificing creatures, or something of the sort, to gain benefit. Necropotence is one of the best examples of a typical great Magic the Gathering black card. Pay one life to basically draw a card. Dark Confidant, excellent! It's giving you card draw in the loss of life. Daffy Voidwalker and Opposition Agent and Orcish Bowmaster don't follow this logic. Now everything of course doesn't have to follow this logic, like I don't demand that Wizard of the Coast stays true to the Magic the Gathering color pie, it's fine. But what about white? Why isn't white getting this power creep? Now the statement in this video is black the new Stax color? It's a little bit hard to say regarding that there are lots of other formats out there. Like I don't play that much Modern, Pioneer, Casual, Legacy or other formats that much currently. I mostly play Commander. And I've already made a video saying that Stax is dead in cEDH. You can look at that video up in the top right corner, and I will leave a link to that video in the description below of this video. But something I said in that video, and I made examples of Opposition Agents still being a great Stax effect that works. Because it's a power creep, it's just that good. I'm not against the concept of Oppo Agent, I'm not against Orcish Bowmaster, I'm not against Daffy Voidwalker. There are other black hate bears we could also talk about too, actually. It's just that these three makes a really good example. I'm just questioning what is happening to white and what is happening to black. Is this going to be a continuous trend from Wizard of the Coast? I really like Magic and I really like Commander, but I still wanna criticize it if I can and if I have an opinion about it. And here I do have an opinion. I think white is lacking a little bit behind, sadly. But it is what it is. Let's move forward. Let's try and predict Wizard of the Coast's next step. Because it's kinda cool to come out with predictions and see if you're right in the future. And if I'm right, then yeah, that's bragging rights. So power creep is a big thing inside this game, we can't deny that. Wizard of the Coast wanna make money, and they make money by printing stronger cards than we had before, which makes us open booster packs looking for those new stronger cards. This means that they have to print stronger cards than we currently have right now in the future eventually. I mean, power creep have always been a thing. If we're going to follow the white way of being, like the white law and order, then Oppo Agent doesn't really make that much sense. Oppo Agent is a thief, it's stealing things. Kinda, depending on how you look at it. I think there's a way to justify Oppo Agent's effect in the color of white. Tweak it a little bit here and there and Oppo Agent could be a white card. Let's actually look at red as an example. Wizard of the Coast have had a problem struggling with making red card draw. Red was really bad at card draw in general throughout Magic history, as blue was the dominant color in that area. But Wizard of the Coast wanted to give red a good way of drawing card draw in the red color pie style. And that's where we eventually got Ragavan. Ragavan are pillage. It's stealing cards from your opponents. It's exiling cards for random profit. Magic of the Gathering have always viewed red as a little bit random and a little bit chaotic. And exiling your opponent's cards, stealing them, is a little bit of a red style. Also, exiling your own cards from your own library is also a temporarily burst of feeling and emotion, in difference to blue card draw, where you draw cards and you store them in your collection in your hand. Beautiful. I have to say I really like what Wizard of the Coast have been doing with the color of red and how red is drawing cards. I think Wizard of the Coast are trying to figure out how they're going to make white power creep in the future, as they probably haven't really figured that one out yet. They are clearly figuring out black though. If we're looking at black and what black are currently kind of developing towards in regards to these new cards, thieving, stealing, getting benefit by doing something, interacting with your opponent and getting a value from it. Perfect, I like that. I mean, I personally like that gameplay style and I like the cards that are doing that for the EDH format. I think Oppo Agent and Daffy Voidwalker are good for the cEDH format. And I think Wizard of the Coast have figured out how they're going to make the color pie black stronger. How they're gonna make the cool black cards that we're currently getting function within the color pie. But I don't see that in white. Smothering Tide and Esper Sentinel are probably great examples of great new white power creep cards. And I guess that could be the future, a lot of tax effects. We have also seen a lot of equalization cards, cards that are giving everyone, or let's just say giving you an advantage if someone has more than you. A great example here is Balance. Now Balance is a banned card, you can only play it in Legacy I think, and it's one of the most strongest white card in the game more or less. But if you look at Balance and all the other white cards that are very similar to it, you can see yeah, this is very white, it's equal, everyone is benefiting equally, so to say. No one is having a better time than anyone else, and I'm catching up, kinda. The question is, how are we making that strong? And furthermore, focus on the video, is black the new Stax color, the new hate color? These power creep or these effects from white, the balance things that I've talked about, aren't really hate bear Stax effects, so I don't think we're gonna see more hate bear things, or maybe some, but maybe not that strong from white coming up. They're probably gonna come from, or other colors in general, but they're probably gonna be very strong from black. That's my prediction. I could be wrong. I actually hope I'm wrong. I wanna see stronger white cards. I want it to be equal. But if you're gonna have these rule of law effects, these white hate bear effects, these white Stax effects that are locking the game down for everyone, when you could have a black effect instead that is only locking down your opponents while you're getting a value from it, then it's a clear message, you should probably go black. Because once you go black, you never go back. I couldn't resist. Well, that's enough of my rant. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you got something out of this mumbling. It is fun to do some of these thought-based theorycraft Magic the Gathering predictions that aren't really relative to deck theory or deck construction. More the kitchen talk that happens beside the game, outside of the game. I hope you got something out of it regardless. Take care guys, and I'll see you in the next